is here.
Check it out.
And you're locked on to Utah's highest rated, most listened to sports radio station.
It's my station. It's my station.
This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
It's my favorite day of the week. Monday in a college football season. Let's go. Well, Saturday in a college football season.
Monday's your favorite? It's your favorite day of the work week.
Of the work week, I love Mondays. Love it.
Even more than Friday. Even like a football Friday at El Matador is really hard to beat.
Yeah, especially when it's in El Matador. And you house those enchiladas, huh?
Housed them.
Yes.
Housed them, but had nearly 2 hours and 15 minutes in my car from Bountiful down to Provo.
Oh, boy.
Because I went straight from the show.
Yeah, and you left quick, too.
Down to
you knew it was going to be bad.
So I went straight down there because I went and met up with a BYU tailgate crew.
Nice. Good for you.
It's kind of the notorious Twitter crew.
Yeah.
Inked Coog and LeBong James and
LeBong James.
Yeah, like it's the crew. It was the crew, and I went out to this tailgate.
Yeah,
and I had just eaten that full pan of El Matador enchiladas. Todd sent me with 6 smothered enchiladas, each of his 6 favorite meats. Oh my gosh! By the way, the number one was that chili verde.
Oh, I love their chili verde.
Oh,
it's so good.
It was so tender and just packed full of flavor. It was delicious. Number 2, I think, was the sweet pork.
Sweet pork's good.
Absolutely delicious. But 6 enchiladas. So I pull up. I just kind of finished the pan. And they're like, we got so much food for you. And I'm like, guys, I hate to let you down. But so I hung out with them for about an hour.
Good for you.
And shot the breeze and had a blast getting to know kind of a crazy portion of the BYU fan base. But just so you know, these are our guys.
Yeah.
This is our crew.
Yeah.
This is where you and I would be on a game day Saturday.
Love it.
And also got to it got introduced to the BYU tailgating area.
Yeah.
And learned that BYU is taking some measures to try to integrate and open up tailgating areas for BYU fans.
There is speaking of Twitter handles, there's a guy named, I think it's like Big Uncle Pooh or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I know him. He's a legendary one.
Yeah, and that dude, I think, deserves a ton of credit at BYU because BYU was notoriously not the most welcoming for tailgaters. And they realized, hey, we got a fan base out here that want to tailgate.
Yeah.
They're not going to get rowdy. They're not going to drink. They just want to get together, have some fun, talk football, and eat some good food. And I think BYU has finally, over the last several years, it seems like Tom Homo, before he retired, was like, you know what?
Absolutely right.
We got to be better at this.
You're absolutely right. Tom took the biggest kind of step to open it up, and I was like, how much do you guys pay for the area? And they're like, nope, BYU sets it aside. We just come and get our hands on it, and it's a massive lot. That's just across from that little island that's next to the indoor practice facility.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
The island has Wendy's, and I think there's a Fat Cats on it. But right across the street, kind of behind a bank, is a nice large parking area. And it's wall to wall. BYU fans with their smokers and having a great tailgate. So it opened up my eyes, man. I was excited to get out there and meet these guys. Inked Coog had a jersey of mine that I got to sign, and then gave me a gift. And this gift is 5 Merlin Olsen players cards, 1 Phil Olsen player card, and then my Uncle Orrin that had signed a playing card. So all 3 of my Olsen uncles.
No kidding.
One of the cards he gave me has a piece of Merlin's jersey. It's one of those jersey cards.
Yeah.
It was minted in 2009 from a player's jersey that they had cut apart for Merlin, but it's got a piece of the jersey in it. I don't know how much that's worth, but it's got to be
those
worth
jersey
something.
cards are pretty sweet.
Yeah, those are.
Yeah.
And I've got quite a few Merlin cards now. I've probably got 10 or 15 that listeners have brought to me over the years, which I absolutely love and appreciate. But I've never had the the jersey card, so that's kind of cool. But getting to understand that the BYU fan base is wild, man. They're wild, and they're not all cut from the same cloth.
No.
They're not all just members and Puritans, and it's all straight laced and right away. And it's like, no, this would be like Melba, this would be like Declo, this would be like Weezer. This is the crew we grew up with. Just out there having a great time and celebrating their fandom the way they should.
That's awesome. I love that.
I loved it too. And then went straight from there over and started pregame. And man, I guess that's where we should start. BYU, it didn't end the way maybe people wanted, but I did take a close look at the film, and I've got some thoughts.
Let's do it, folks. It is your starting lineup, Hans and Scotty, on a Monday. Remember, you'll hear from Bronco Mendenhall coming up in about 20 minutes from now. You'll hear from Kalani Sitake at 1:05 and Kyle Whittingham at 2:05. It's a Coach's Monday, but let's recap what went on with BYU in West Virginia right now.
This is Hans and Scotty G.
Let's go.
The lineup is set, and it's time to kick off the show with the biggest topic of the day. This is the starting lineup on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Starting lineup right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone, all brought to you by Mountain Land Supply, where the pros go for all your needs. If water runs through it, Mountain Land Supply is going to get you squared away. Tim and the crew ready to help you out. It's mountainland.com to find the location near you.
I guess before we jump into this, I guess we should talk about the news that came down about 30, 40 minutes ago. BYU, Utah on a 6 p.m. kick.
It's not, hey, I would love 1 o'clock. I would love 3 o'clock. 6, a lot better than 8:30.
Ton better than 8:30, because now you're kicking 8 o'clock East Coast. You're going to wrap up somewhere around 11:30 East Coast.
You'll get some eyes on it too.
Maybe midnight East Coast. You'll get some eyes out there. Everybody needs to be watching this BYU Utah game. And my ultimate hope is that we get 2-0 this weekend. So we move into the rivalry game with a 5-1, probably 23 to 25 ranked. If they beat Arizona State, Utah will jump back up into the top 25.
Yes. Yep.
Probably somewhere between 23 and 25. If BYU takes care of Arizona, who's a very good team. Arizona's a really good team. We're going to jump into the depths of that on Wednesday on our BYU preview show. But it's a very good team. If they beat Arizona, they jump to 18 this week. If they beat Arizona, they should get another 2 to 3 spot movement. So there's a good chance if you get a 2-0 coming up this weekend, there's a good chance you're going to get a 14-ish versus a 24-ish.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
A 14 and 24-ish, and you're going to have a lot of Big 12 implications stacked on the line. Now, if both BYU and Utah let us down this weekend, then we're going to be looking at a 4-2
Utah team. Yeah.
And a 5-1 BYU team.
Yeah.
Probably a 24 or 25 ranked BYU team and a 37, 38 ranked Utah team.
Yep.
So it feels like there's a lot on the line this week.
A lot on the line. And I've got to think, I hope that both BYU and Utah know that, okay, we've got conference games in front of us. In the grand scheme of things, Arizona and Arizona State, for those respective teams, are just as important as the game next week. Now, I know there's bragging rights and all that, but it's a conference game this week and a conference game next week. So if you have anybody peeking ahead to that game next week, if you're Kalani Sitake or Kyle Whittingham, you got to nip that in the bud immediately.
Down on it. You're absolutely right. Because if you have a hiccup this weekend, it disrupts everything.
Yeah.
Then it's like neither one of them would have been Big 12 championship game opponents anyways. So, but if they both come in with wins against the Arizona teams, it's like one of those two might be writing their ticket to the Big 12 championship.
Yes.
Maybe. BYU, things get really tight. These next 4 games.
Yeah. But I mean,
really tight.
If you're Utah and you win that game, you've got one conference loss, but You've beaten Arizona State and BYU in back-to-back weeks. That puts you in a driver's seat for a Big 12 championship game.
For BYU?
Or no, if Utah beats Arizona
ASU
State and BYU in back-to-back weeks, they're in the driver's seat because you've already got
1,000%.
You've got tiebreakers with both those teams.
1,000%. 1,000%. That would be a massive move for the University of Utah. And that's why we talked about this rivalry, or we talked about this bye week that Utah just had. Critical.
Yeah.
Between West Virginia and Arizona State. Critical. I think it was more important then than it would be between Arizona State and BYU, because Arizona State is a absolute beast.
Yeah.
And I know ASU got their time, but it was more important for Utah, because the more I look at that Texas Tech game, the more I know that Devin Dampierre was not whole. He was not whole. Guarantee it. Haven't heard that. I haven't had a coach tell me that, but he was beyond not whole. So that's from my film review. Mm-hmm. I could tell there was there was too much hitch, and times that he should have taken off, he didn't. And then he tried to force some things, and it turned out poorly. So hopefully Devin Dampierre in this week has gotten extremely healthy and is ready to go against Arizona State. But with Arizona State, there's one huge component to this. Having to come to Rice-Eccles Stadium. And I know it didn't work out well for Texas Tech, and I get it. Utah fans, you were great.
It wasn't on you.
The Big Noon, you were great. It was such a beautiful, and to Mark Harlan, the athletic director, and everybody that put on the show for Big Noon that came out there, you guys made it really look good. It was a good representation, I thought.
Oh, I thought you couldn't have gone any better.
The game didn't go the way
not so much
it needed to.
Yeah, but that's on the team. That's not on the fans. That's not on the university.
What I'm asking is one more time, Utah fans. One more time, just go all in. Everything you've got. And this time, if you're down by 17 in the third quarter, don't stop. If you're down by 17 to start the fourth quarter, don't stop. Just keep leaning into it. Keep creating havoc. Keep creating noise. Storm the field a few times. Like, whatever you got to do. Storm the field at half if you're up. I don't care. Like, you got to disrupt them. Because I promise you, if this game was played in Sun Devil Stadium, I promise you those fans would cause all kinds of problems for Utah. I don't know if I've watched a fan base be more disruptive, disrespectful, and altogether ridiculous, which is exactly what you want your fan base to be.
Yes.
Than what I witnessed when I called that BYU-Arizona State game. So I'm just saying, Utah fans, you've got a really sweet opportunity here to cause a lot of problems, because this is the biggest thing that Utah's got going for them, that this game is at Rice-Eccles Stadium.
Yeah. And if I'm in that locker room and I hear anybody mention anything about the BYU game the next week, I'm Kyle Whittingham, like, guess what? That game means nothing if we don't win this week.
Yeah, you got to stomp that out as fast and as hard as you can.
BYU, on the other hand, had what do we call it, tune-up game? West Virginia. Now, again, I'm with you on this. Second half, I know things weren't clean, and there were a lot of mistakes. Finally, this BYU offense turns it over. But there's a lot of things to nitpick. But overall, Bear Bachmeier looked great. There were a lot of things that you got excited about if you're a BYU fan. Now, the injuries, those are concerning. Mm-hmm. But overall development, week in and week out for Bear Bachmeier, I know there was some mistakes there, but I'm loving what I'm seeing out of this kid.
Well, excited to hear from Kalani Sitake today. What time is that, 1 or 2? 1? 2?
2. Oh, yeah, Kalani at 1, Kyle at 2. Sorry, my bad.
So I'm excited to hear from Kalani today at 1 o'clock. By the way, stay tuned here on the Hans and Scotty Show. You'll get to hear from Kalani. I want to hear his take on Jack Kelly and Glasgow and Nawahine. I just want to hear if there's any updates. The grapevine rolls around, and if you listen to the grapevine, it wasn't the worst result that it could have been for Jack Kelly. So we'll see if the grapevine has any accuracy. People are saying that it might be some time, but it's not season ending. And if that's the truth, then BYU came out of that. They dodged a major bullet. Major bullet. But again, we'll listen to Kalani and then we'll pay attention throughout the week. I can't, in my wildest dreams, I couldn't expect Jack Kelly to play this weekend against Arizona. I can't. The way he left the field, the way they were holding the arm, the way they were so gentle, the way he kind of laid there for a while, and you could see that it was a lot of pain. When you're a linebacker and that shoulder or lower arm or upper arm has damage, it's tough because those shoulders take a lot of abuse through 68 snaps of a game, a ton. So I can't imagine he'd play this week, but I'm not the doctor. I'm not Jack Kelly, and I've seen crazier things. But the other part is, Scotty, don't try to be commando. Don't try to be the hero. If you can't give me 100%, then let Ace Kafusi roll. Let Max Alford roll. Alford came in and did some good things. You know him pretty well, don't you?
Yeah, good player at Utah State. The only problem he had, he couldn't stay healthy up there. He tore his ACL first play of the season in the first game of the season against Iowa a couple of years ago.
Sucks. That's terrible. I actually like Alford better than some other options.
Yeah.
So, because you've got Miles Hall that could be an option. You got Ace Kafusi that could be an option. I feel like Max, he gives you just a little bit more solid effort in settling down into blocks.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see how that all plays out. All right, so now putting that aside and just talking about the game, I have the luxury of a great booth view. I have the luxury of some replay opportunities during the game. And then this morning I went back and watched the second and third quarters, mostly the second and third quarters of the BYU West Virginia game. And it is very clear to me that my first view was accurate. The offensive line was very dominant against West Virginia's front. Also, West Virginia was doing, and we talked about this through the week last week, West Virginia was doing everything humanly possible to stop the run. They were blitzing the gaps. They were throwing run stunts. They were running run blitzes. They were stacking linebackers. Linebackers weren't at their typical 3 or 4 yard depth. Linebackers were at 1.5 to 2 yard depth, especially on rundowns. Safeties were walked up. Safeties were getting involved in run support. They were doing everything they could, which led to a couple of those passes that you saw where Chase Roberts read the coverage, read the safety leaning forward, and they turned a hitch into a go. That happened twice. So there were a couple of times where, because of what they were doing, it led to big plays. Going into that game, I think Bear Bachmeier had 2 passes over 40 yards. In the first half of that game, I think he had 3. Just based off of what West Virginia was doing.
Yeah.
Okay, so I need to make that really clear because every time I talk about the BYU offensive line winning the trench, I get pushback of, well, what was yards per carry for LJ Martin? Well, yards per carry was 4.3. Okay, we'll take away the 32-yard run that he had, and what are you at? Well, you're around 3.3. So if you take his 4.3 and then you took Bear Bachmeier before you had, any type of yardage elimination, you're averaging right around 4 yards a carry. And, 4 yards a carry doesn't suck, Scotty.
No. And I always push back on that really hard when somebody says, well, you take away. No, the run, that happened.
Yeah, that happened. So you got to add it in.
So it has to be there.
So when you're talking about 4 yards a carry and a defense is doing everything they can to stop the run, there's some significance there. And I do want to point out that most of the LJ Martin carries, like when you're looking at his 21 carries, there were a lot that were just full-on short yardage, 4th and 1s, 3rd and 1s, where he's in full-on dive mode. He's just trying to get the first down. And so you're getting a wedge from the offensive line, and he's just caving down. That was true with Bear Bachmeier, too. on one or two plays, including the goal line at like the 4-yard line, where Bear Bachmeier kept and came downhill untouched, completely untouched. Well, that's because the offensive line was winning the trench. And on the other side, the defensive line won the trench. They won the trench in the run game. Now, West Virginia got 156 yards, but it was on 47 carries. You know, their whole goal was to try to come in and reestablish the pit like they did a couple years ago and try to win that game. And BYU's defensive front shut them down. And John Taumapeo continues to be a beast. I thought it was one of Logan Latui's better games. Pretty darn good. But Jack Kelly is, you can't be missing him.
No. Nope.
He is critical to the success of this defense.
And if he's out, it better, it needs to be just Arizona. Now, look, if it's serious, he needs to be out as long as he needs to be. But for the long-term success of BYU, you can't go an extended amount of time with him out of the lineup.
Got to have him.
Yeah.
Just a couple more observations here, Scotty. One of your better defenders that's developing, that's coming along quickly, is Faletau Satawala.
Mm-hmm.
He's long. He is really good at walking up in run support. He was really big against West Virginia. Multiple big plays. I'm not as adept at watching coverage and understanding coverage as I am run support and edge support and run and edge responsibility. So when Faletau walks up, I understand his role a lot more than when he drops into certain coverages. He's going to have to be incredible in coverages against Arizona. That's going to be critical. But I do think Faletau Satawala and Tanner Wall have kind of become your two top safeties, and I think Raider Damuni has been a fantastic support. But it's a three-man system that I really like. And Satawala is only a sophomore. So he's playing some really big boy ball. And then a shout out to the offensive line. I know I've been talking about their dominance, but Waylon Lapuaho opened up a 68, what did they end up being, 54-yard screen. It was Waylon Lapuaho. Fantastic block downfield. Again, another Utah State
guy, yeah.
So
started as a true freshman in Logan.
Yeah, a couple Utah State products that are helping at BYU, but I thought he played a great game, and Bruce Mitchell has become a mainstay superstar at the center position. So I'm watching these things all come together, and I love what I'm seeing. But there are areas that you don't have depth. And, like LJ Martin is such a critical piece, and it goes well beyond his ability to run the ball. I was going to send out a tweet about his pickups. He had so many big pickups. That number one, that defensive end for West Virginia, that Eddie Kelly Jr.
Yeah.
6'5", 288 pounds. There were two times just in the two quarters that I studied that L.J. Martin picked him up on pocket set assignment.
Yeah. Stonewalled him.
And stonewalled him.
Loved it.
Yep. Stood him up.
Hans and Scotty coming up next. Bronco Mendenhall, head coach of Utah State, joins us straight ahead right here on The Zone.
Complete game coverage of the Cougars is right here on the KSL Sports Zone. The Cougars head to Tucson for a battle against the Arizona Wildcats. Your home for the best coverage of Cougar football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hans Olsen, Scott Gerard, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. We're going to chat with Bronco Mendenhall, head coach of the Utah State Aggies. They get set for a showdown on the islands on their way to Hawaii to take on a really good Hawaii team. We'll talk about that with Coach. In fact, he joins us right now, the head coach of the Aggies, Bronco Mendenhall. Coach, how are you?
Hey, Coach.
Hey, how's it going?
Doing well. Doing well. How was the off week as you get ready to Welcome these guys back into the facility after giving a few days off. What's the vibe in the building right now?
Too early to know. I haven't seen our team yet. Monday through Thursday, lots and lots of just really workmanlike work. Not only did the players expect it, it seemed like they wanted it and knew they needed it in terms of framing, the next stretch of the season, which are all conference games. And so the team then had Friday, Saturday, Sunday off while the coaches were recruiting. There have been players wandering through the building and doing additional meetings on their own. But we'll have a team meeting here at 1:30, and that'll be the first chance I'll have to see them collectively. Reports from the strength coach with an early morning lift where, team looks healthier, fresher, and that's always good to hear coming off a bye week, especially when the second part of the season is coming up.
Well, I love to hear that, Bronco, because I remember going in 2 weeks ago, you had mentioned the stat, and I think it does hold true. First time in Utah State history with 2 away teams in the top 25, Vanderbilt and Texas A&M.
Yep.
That's a tough stretch. And to be able to come out of that and say this through the bye week, that gives me a lot of hope. That's got to give you a lot of hope.
It does, and hopefully it manifests, as I get to work with our team today. And so the basically Monday in a regular week is kind of a player's off day, and there's meetings, et cetera, but not a practice day. I shouldn't say an off day, but a preparation day. Today is basically the equivalent of a Tuesday for us, which is a heavy volume day. And we basically are a day ahead knowing that we leave for Hawaii on Thursday. So, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, hopeful that it did its trick, not only mentally but physically, which it sounds like it did. And then again, after I see our team today, I'll know for sure, and then I'll adjust our practice plan and whatever our preparation needs to look like after I've seen us today.
Looking at some of the notes coming out of your early or your morning press conference that takes place every Monday, you mentioned that Ike Larson has been reinstated. What was the process in getting him back with the team, and how has he looked in the early stages of practice?
Yeah, Ike was reinstated last Tuesday. We met on Monday, and then he joined the team in the team meeting on Tuesday, and he practiced with us Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday after being away from the team for 7 weeks. And so the terms of the suspension are private, but I asked Ike to do some things that, I really thought would be beneficial not only to his future, but also just in terms of things that I thought needed to be done restitution-wise. And so he worked really hard, completed all the requirements, and as I shared with our team, and just what I believe in general, we all do things that sometimes we could do better, but once restitution or once things have been made right, then we move forward. And I believe as if they've never happened. And so, he's worked really hard, and our team kind of just matter-of-factly moved forward. There wasn't really a giant ceremony or this big change. I made a few comments to the team, and now we're back to work.
Coach, I had it here in my notes that I wanted to ask you a little bit about Braden Pagan. I know it's kind of a random question or thought, but where did you come across Brandon Pagan? And when did you meet him? When did you know that he could be as much of a weapon as he's been for you?
Yeah, so Ali'i Niamatulolo, Kenny's son, works on our staff, and Ali'i spent some time at UCLA. And so when our staff was getting together and we were, again, looking for, and we saw needs at the wide receiver position, Ali'i mentioned Braden Pagan's name. We call him BP, and said, man, he has great potential. Hadn't played hardly at all, was a really young player, but we liked the length, we liked the size, and there wasn't much on film to really even to see from the UCLA, but high school-wise, we certainly did. And I remember visiting with he and his dad as they came to visit, and there had been some damage done, as sometimes that happens with players at different programs when either their role or their value isn't perceived to be what it could have been. And sometimes there's confidence issues that happen because of that. Sometimes there's frustration. Sometimes there's just a deepened desire and gratitude to play the game. And we just thought BP would be a great fit for us. And his transformation is what I would call it, to just being fiercely capable and just carrying the load and being a big play threat in his practice habits and the volume of work he's been able to do. It's just been it's just been an amazing fit for him, not only him for Utah State, but us in him. And again, a lot of people talk about the transfer portal negatively. There are plenty of instances where it's working positively in the world of second chances.
How's Bryson Barnes look through the bye week, and what are the chances he suits up on Saturday?
Yeah, I've been asked that all day, and so he's increasingly getting better. I'm anxious to see today, and again, I've mentioned just kind of out loud all day today in the interviews that I'm not looking to keep it a secret, just want to verify and be clear with medical before I make an announcement. And so we're all hopeful he's back, and our team is hopeful he is, I am, and so, again, just holding a little bit longer on verification to make sure whatever I say is accurate.
Same sentiment on Trey Anderson and Jake Eichhorn?
Yep, same on both of them as well. Exactly the same. And again, a few extra days, the 3 days over the weekend, hopefully gives me a little bit clearer idea. And again, I'm not for all the shenanigans that happen of announcing, not announcing, all that. It's just, I'd rather just say what it is, but I want to be accurate.
When you look at, and I know you don't peek ahead too much, but just from a scheduling standpoint, I know you value every minute of every day. When you've got a trip to Hawaii on Saturday and then a short week against San Jose State coming up on Friday, how much does that alter even what you do this week in preparation for a short week next week?
It's a really good question, and it does, for sure. This isn't just Hawaii prep. This is now home stretch, conference race, every possible way to gain an advantage and manage the health of our team. So you have to certainly address the cultural part to make sure the work ethic and the mindset is right, which I think we're ahead on in our program at this point, in at least my tenure here. Then you have to do your best to make sure your team is ready to play, not only going to Hawaii, but then playing a Friday night, which is, man, anything but ideal, but certainly possible. So what we do this week, we actually accounted for last week in how we practiced. With that in mind.
When do you leave for a trip for Hawaii? What goes into the getting to the island and preparing on the island? Bronco, I went there in 1997 or 98, and it just feels so distracting and so far away. It was pretty miserable.
Yeah, and that's been my experience. My experience as well with the BYU teams that I went over with. We had success. I think I went 2 or 3 or 4 times. I don't remember for sure. Went last year with New Mexico and just really had to just go win and New Mexico would have been postseason. It was really just an awful trip. We ended up leaving Albuquerque, had to stop in Oakland for an hour and a half over the ocean check. They wouldn't let us off the plane, so it was the equivalent of almost 9 hours on the airplane without being able to get off. And again, the distractions and the different challenges that were there after a long season. And really, we didn't even start to play effectively till maybe the middle of the third quarter. So there's plenty of challenges right now, just outside of my office, my operations team. They're still working on every detail possible I met with the human performance team this morning as well to have the itinerary reflect, sleep rhythms and lights on and drapes drawn and wake up at this time and this much hydration and compression on the plane in terms of compression tights. And I mean, the number of details on the itinerary. So you want to make sure it reflects the information without over alerting people of, holy smokes, this is a big deal. Can we even play football over there? Right. So you have to acknowledge the brutal facts to make sure the trip is effective and efficient without then saying, can we even play? Because I have to manage the itinerary so closely. And that's a delicate balance, but it has to be done.
So, and then add on to the fact that Hawaii's really good, 4-2 on the season. And I don't care who you are. I don't care how good or bad they are in Air Force. You go to Colorado Springs and you put 44 on the board against the Falcons. You've got yourself a heck of a squad on your hands.
I saw it last year just with the quarterback as he got his first start against us. And I've seen it in the defensive improvement the last 2 years. They're a quality football team. And anytime you play a quality football team and you play them on the island, we're preparing for a battle for sure. And if you think about the Stanford game, Hawaii kicks a field goal to win to close out the game. Fresno has to stop a 2-point conversion right at the end to win. It's 4 quarters of everything you got, and that's what we're preparing for.
Coach, we appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us, and we look forward to catching up with you again later throughout the week.
Go get him, Coach.
All right, thanks to both of you. See you later. Bye-bye.
There he is, Bronco Mendenhall, head coach of Utah State. So, Hans, they are coming off a bye week, which is nice.
Yeah.
But then you have to leave on Thursday to get to Hawaii for a game on Saturday, which will start at, your body clock's at 10 o'clock, essentially, is 10 p.m. Then you have to take that long flight back to Logan and then play San Jose State, another team that is sneaky good, on Friday of next week.
So the kickoff is at 10 p.m.
Yes.
Game probably concludes around 2.
Yeah.
No, 1:30.
Yeah, 1:30. Yeah.
1:30-ish. You get on a plane that night.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll fly back 1:30, 2:30, 3:30, 4:30, 5:30, 6:30, 7:30. It's like 8:30, 9 in the morning.
Yeah, it's about right.
These guys will finally get back home.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's a pretty miserable. People are like, "Oh, why? How fun would that be?" It's pretty miserable.
It's miserable. It's miserable.
And the distractions are real.
Yeah.
Because you go out there for the first time. The first time I got to go to Hawaii, I'm like, this is incredible. They had a special event set up on a private island where we got to take a little catamaran out to this island, and they had all this big luau, and we all went out there and we had an incredible day. And then you're like, oh, we got to hit the walkthrough. And then you remember that you're there for a business trip, and you're like, oh, this sucks. And then they try to put you in your bed, and you're like,
wait a minute.
Man, some of those streets looked really fun.
Yeah.
I mean, that was really fun. Is it worth it? Is it worth it? If I get caught, is it worth sneaking out? Is it worth? Can I still play? Oh yeah, I'm a freak. I can still play this game. I'll still blow them up. The whole thing is a mess. It's a mind game that you have to keep reminding yourself. It's a business trip. It's a business trip. It's a business trip. And then you go play a game, and this is not your grandma's Hawaii.
No.
This is a tougher team.
It's a much, much better team. Timmy Chang's got him playing really, really well. 12:49, Hans and Scotty. We're about 15 minutes away from hearing from Kalani Sitake. What you may have missed coming up next right here on The Zone.
Nobody gets you ready for Utah football more than the KSL Sports Zone.
Ready?
Kyle Whittingham and the Utes are back at home for a showdown against Arizona State. Your home for the best coverage of Utah football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G. Presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
If you can find me a logoed tropical shirt, yes, I will wear that for you. I like how you cut out Tommy Bahama.
There's no Tommy Bahama in there.
Yeah, because you cut it out.
No, I didn't.
Are the Mickey Mouse Hawaiian shirts on the way?
They are on the way. It's going to be tight.
Okay.
He only bought one, by the way.
What are LJ and
That's
Kevin
what I
gonna
said.
wear?
That's what I said.
They'll be fine. They'll be fine.
You want them to look like a team, or do you want them to look like a?
I mean, you see Hans pictures, man. They're down.
It's color coordinated.
They're all looking the same.
What do you think this is?
No,
It's just
Ajay's going to be there.
Ajay will be there.
I love
Yeah.
when Lloyd thinks that it's just a circus show in Utah State.
I know.
And you guys can wear whatever you want.
Yeah.
Get 3 of them, or don't get one.
Okay, I'll get on that.
Yeah.
But if he gets 3, will you wear them?
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, look, I'm a man of my word. I said it. I'll wear it.
I can't wait. I can't wait for your booth videos to come out.
I can't imagine. I don't know how long they'll be worn. There might be a wardrobe change, but there will be video and there will be pictures.
That entire game in it. Come on.
Hey,
There'll
Lloyd,
be a good chunk
I know
of
what you're doing. Stop distracting us. We got a short segment here. We got to talk about the Raiders.
There's only one thing to talk about. What you may have missed.
Oh, I didn't even know that's what was going on here.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
sorry.
knew.
We need to
No, I
talk
didn't.
about this because I told you multiple times.
Don't you point your finger at
This
me.
is all bad, all of it. So you go with an
You're
old,
bad.
washed-up coach. You bring on an old, washed-up quarterback. The Raiders, they're going to end up ruining Ashton Genty. And
Well, I already said they need to redshirt him.
IR him.
Geno Smith leads the league in interceptions.
He's averaging like 2 a game.
Well, here's an idea. Throw it taller than a defensive end once, and Did it go off of Dean's helmet, or was it at least a hand?
It was a hand.
Was it? Are you sure? Because it looked like it might have bounced off his helmet.
1 and 4. Lloyd, come on, get them together.
I never said they were going to make the playoffs, but I was hopeful they could be on the cusp.
But it's not just that, Scotty. You give up 41 points to the Commanders.
Yeah.
You give up.
By the way, 41 without Jaden Daniels.
Without Jaden. Was it another 40? Was that what it was?
They lost by 40, yes. Yeah. 40
the
to
Colts?
6. Yes. The Colts are the real deal.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
What? They are. They look good.
Daniel Jones, it does look like he's trying to prove the world wrong.
I like a – well, okay.
Did you see his rollout pass to the back of the end zone?
The dude can sling it.
That was a laser.
Now, I know Sam Darnold lost yesterday, but there's something about once you get a quarterback in a good system with good coaching. Look at Baker Mayfield in Tampa. Look at Daniel Jones. Look at, the guy, I just mentioned him, that's in Seattle.
Jalen?
Seattle quarterback who went to USC. Sam Darnold. Yeah. Like, you get guys and say, like, okay, you know what? Where you were at before, not good. Let's get you in with us. We'll get you some good coaching, a stable situation, give you time to learn. That's what, I hope Zach Wilson gets the same thing, where he's able to be in a stable situation with quality coaching, and then all of a sudden you're like, wow, where'd this guy come from? Well, he's been there all along, just needed the right system to adapt to.
Can you imagine being the Jets?
Oh.
Well, we're going to run out our first-round pick, this Wilson kid, because we're pretty sure that we're going to find something. 0-5. Okay, thanks. 0-5.
Yeah.
Well, you know what we're going to do? We're going to go with Justin Fields because we just feel like, no, you're going to ruin him.
Yeah.
Even more than he's been ruined.
You ruined that guy, too. The guy, that is where quarterbacks go to die.
Yeah, it's a sad deal.
Yeah, right here on The Zone.